There's a task. You know exactly what it is. You've known for a while now. It's not complicated. It's not even that big. And yet here you are, doing something else. Most people think procrastination is about being lazy. Like you just don't care enough, don't have enough willpower, enough discipline. And if you just tried harder, you'd get it done. But I don't think that's it. Not really. The people who procrastinate the most are often not lazy at all. They think too much. They care too much. They feel something uncomfortable the moment they get close to a task, and they back away. Not out of laziness, out of avoidance. And avoidance is different. It means something about that specific task triggers something in you. Maybe it feels too big. Maybe you're scared of doing it wrong, so you don't start. Not because you can't, but because starting means facing that thing. I noticed this in myself. The tasks I put off the longest are never the hardest ones technically. They are the ones that feel exposed somehow. An email where I'm unsure of the tone. A call I don't know how it'll go. Those are the ones that just sit there. So if you spent years thinking you're just not disciplined enough, maybe that's the wrong question. Maybe the real question is, what is it about that specific thing that makes it hard to face? Because the answer is usually there. Not in your willpower, but in what the task means to you. Here's something worth noticing. You don't procrastinate on everything. You fix the thing that's broken. You reply to that one friend immediately. You handle it without thinking. So it's clearly not about laziness. It's about something specific to certain tasks. The difference is usually how the task makes you feel before you start. Some things feel neutral, mechanical, easy to just get through. Others carry something heavier, a vague pressure, a small fear you can't quite name. And your brain notices that difference way before you consciously do. Tasks with unclear outcomes are the hardest to start. When you don't know exactly how it'll go, how long it'll take, how it'll be received, your brain flags it as uncomfortable. And uncomfortable things get delayed, not forever, just until later, which somehow always stays later. There's also the tasks that feel too small to schedule, but too annoying to just do. That one form, that one phone call, that one thing that takes maybe 15 minutes, but has been on your list for 3 weeks. Those are almost the worst ones. What's interesting is that once you start noticing the pattern, which tasks you avoid and which ones you don't, you start seeing what's actually going on. It's not random. It's always the same kind of thing. And that says more about you than you'd think. There's something else worth saying. This isn't just a personal failing you were born with. Because if you talk to people older than you, most of them didn't struggle with this the same way. Not to this extent. Something has changed, and it's not just you. We now live in an environment that is specifically designed to interrupt you. Every app, every notification, every platform is built to pull your attention away from whatever you were doing. And attention is exactly what starting something requires, so the competition for it has never been higher. And it goes deeper than notifications. We've been conditioned to expect instant results. Everything loads fast, replies come fast, content is endless. So when a task asks you to sit with discomfort, to work slowly towards something uncertain, it feels almost unnatural now. The brain resists it more than it used to. There's also just more to do than ever. More decisions, more options, more things competing for your time. And when everything feels equally urgent, nothing really gets started. You end up frozen. Not lazy, not careless, just overwhelmed by the sheer amount of it all. So yes, part of this is personal, but part of it is structural. The world got harder to focus in, and nobody really warned you about that either. which doesn't solve anything, but it might make it a little easier to stop blaming yourself so much. Here's something you already know but keep forgetting. Every time you finally start the thing, the one that's been sitting there for days, it's never as bad as you thought it would be. Not even close. The dread was always bigger than the task. There's a specific feeling when you cross that line. When you stop thinking about starting and you're just doing it. The resistance disappears almost immediately. Not because the task got easier, but because the anticipation was always the hard part. And once you're in it, something else happens. Time moves differently. You stop checking your phone. You stop thinking about the other things on your list. There's just this one thing right now. And that feeling, that's actually the opposite of procrastination. I think about this a lot. How the version of me that finally started is never angry at the task. It's usually just fine, moving through it, wondering why it took so long to get here, and then, almost every time, just finishing. The gap between not starting and starting is almost never about effort. It's about that first small move, opening the document, picking up the phone, sitting down with the intention to actually do it. Just that, nothing more. The rest usually follows. There's something almost comforting about tomorrow. It's clean, unburdened, no mistakes yet, no delays. Tomorrow you'll start fresh. Tomorrow you'll be ready. Tomorrow always feels more possible than right now. And that's not entirely wrong. Sometimes you genuinely need distance from a thing. Sometimes waiting is the right call. But there's a version of tomorrow that we've been trusting for years now. The same tomorrow that keeps not arriving. What's strange is that we know this. We lived it enough times to see the pattern. We know the us from tomorrow rarely shows up differently, and yet the belief persists. Because the alternative, doing it now, with all the discomfort that brings, is harder to choose. Maybe that's just part of being human. This small, persistent faith in a better version of yourself waiting just one day ahead. It's not stupidity, it's not weakness. It's hope, in a slightly dysfunctional form. And honestly, there's something almost tender about that. So the next time you catch yourself saying, "I'll do it tomorrow," maybe just notice it. Not with guilt, not with judgment. Just notice what it is you're avoiding. That's usually enough to make tomorrow arrive a little sooner.